I'm ready. My voice might crack a little. I'm a little tired today. Wow, my top 3 bands of all time. It's kind of easy, and it's not a surprise. It goes Bad Brains, Black Sabbath, and Motorhead. When I was young, growing up, me and Pete have 2 older brothers, and they were into a lot of metal and rock, and we were into the same things they were. But for some reason, me and Pete always gravitated toward like the heavier, faster songs of, say, like Deep Purple and Rainbow, and then we got into Black Sabbath really heavy. And we also discovered punk at the same time through the Plasmatics. But the band that kind of wrapped it all together was Motorhead. That was the band for us that was like, holy crap, you know, it had the punk edge, but it was still heavy like metal, you know. And of course, you know, Black Sabbath is Black Sabbath, you know, you can't go wrong with them. And discovering the Bad Brains after discovering Motorhead, which is weird, a lot of people do it the other way around, but that was just amazing. And we were lucky enough in 1989 to open for the Bad Brains on an American tour, and that was just seeing them every night in their prime. Just, you know, it was like watching, I don't know, God, I don't know, you could say, HR doing backflips every night. The band's so tight, so powerful, and as soon as they would kick into a song, the whole place would explode. It was amazing. Wow, well, it's not tough. My number 1 is easy. My number 1 is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's a classic. You can't go wrong with this movie. I don't know why, but ever since I was a little kid, when I first saw that movie, no matter how, it's a really long movie, but it just drew me in, and it's just one of the greatest movies of all time. Another one of my favorites is The Seven Samurai. It's another really long movie, but it's just like there's the story of these 7 misfits being brought together to defend the defenseless. You know, it was just, I don't know, that kind of theme struck me really well. And besides that, Iron Monkey, because I love action movies, and that's probably one of my favorite kung fu movies of all time. It goes like this, all right? Tokyo, Japan, just because I love Japan, and we always have fun shows there. We played Hamburg last night, it was great, but I'm going to have to say Munich, Germany, always. We have amazing shows in Munich, Germany, and anywhere in Belgium. They just love us in Belgium, and they always go all out for us. From the small shows to the big festivals, our Belgian fans just kill it. It's hard to say because I love a lot of old shows, but one of my top shows of all time, and this is my number 1 show of all time, is All in the Family. I don't know what they called it in Europe, but it was Archie Bunker was the character's name, and it was all a story about a white guy in Queens, you know, like working class, kind of racist guy. And a lot of people hated the show because of the jokes and the way he was to other people, but he was showing how dumb it was and how, you know, silly it was to be racist. And growing up in the 70s watching that show, it opened our minds more, you know. We grew up with people like that, but seeing them on TV being made fun of, you're like, oh wow, it's really stupid to be like that, you know. Lately I've been watching with my daughter. She loves the Supergirl series they just put out in the United States, so it gives me something to watch with my daughter. And it doesn't have to be a musical, which she's really into right now, but at least we can watch Supergirl together and have fun. I like good comedies, and there's a cartoon that's made for adults called Archer. It's about a secret agent. It's really funny. You have to go check it out. Archer's hilarious. That's not that easy. My top 3 Sick of It All songs. Going back to the first album, there's a song that we don't play anymore, which I fight for every tour, but I get shot down. It's called Alone, my favorite Sick of It All song of all time. Of course, Scratch the Surface, the song Scratch the Surface. And on the last album, I really loved the song Outgunned that we wrote. I really love it because I think the theme of it's really good. Let's see, I don't know if I have specific books, but then the writers I like, some are famous, some aren't, but for me it's like, I like horror stories and stuff. One of my favorite horror writers of all time is a guy named Brian Keane. He writes really good books. I always seem to right away start to identify with the characters in his books. he's credited in America as giving rebirth to the zombie craze way back when it started, before there was, The Walking Dead and all that stuff. He put out a book called The Rising, and it took off like crazy, and all of a sudden all these other authors started to write zombie books. I like this guy, Peter David. He writes mainly for comic books, but again, his characters draw you in. He has a lot of novels that are really good and I like him because he also adds humor into his action and his scares and stuff. And the last one's pretty obvious. I like a lot of Stephen King. He's a great writer. Sometimes a little long-winded for my little mind, but I really like his stuff.